What's up, guys?
Welcome back, brothers.
Happy Monday.
Welcome back to another episode of
Whiskey and Water. Okay, wait, hold on. I have to give credit to one of our favorite podcasts, Girls Gotta Eat, because I feel like every time we do I feel like a fraud, and I know there's some of you who listen to both, and I just gotta say, we got it from them. Anyways.
That's like, although I'm sure they...
Oh, my God. Okay, we gotta pick that up. Hold on. All right, so now that that's handled, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So today's, oh my God, still, what, episode 17? Today's episode, Jess, you can go ahead and go for it because I feel like I'm going to be talking enough.
Yes, today is going to be the water show. I'm a supporting co-host.
I just really wanted to talk about myself for a full hour, guys.
Yeah, and so we're giving her that time.
But I'm like cringing already.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about and diving into the depths of Olivia's relationship.
Yeah. Oh, okay. PG on it. He's on our third mic again. I definitely don't want to make it like, I don't know. I think there's a fine line between making it too personal, but I also want to add value to you guys. But before we even get into all of that, we'll do a little bit of catch up.
Yeah.
Catch up time.
So what'd you do last night?
Well, what did you do last night? We did the same thing.
We did the same thing.
We went to Cirque du Soleil, and shout out them for having us as guests. VIP guest. VIP. It was amazing.
Dude, you've been before. It was my first time. It
It was Tyler's first time too.
It exceeded my expectations like fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I knew for Tyler it was going to exceed his too, so that's why I was so excited. I'm like, oof, you have no idea. It's so cool.
The best of the best in the world. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's just so, like, I kind of give me anxiety just watching people. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like holding your breath the whole time watching them do these insane tricks.
I was like gasping, and like the people around me like weren't quite as like flabbergasted as I was, and I was like, I guess it's because like we do yoga, like we do acro yoga, and like a lot of those same principles are applied there, except just on crack. And I was like, I'm looking at the people next to me, and I'm like, do you know how hard this is?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it was insane.
I'm like, you better fucking clap harder.
Yeah, no, it was so good. Definitely something I would have like spent my own money on 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like Tyler and I were raving about it.
Not the VIP, but sure.
Yeah, right. So shout out Michael, our manager, for hooking us up with that. Also, guys, we want to touch briefly about the bushfires happening in Australia right now. We won't divulge too much into it, but obviously you have heard of it, and it's really important that we keep the momentum going with the donations, and they're receiving like an outpour of support and love from everyone, which is really beautiful to see. But let's keep it up.
Yeah, let's keep that ball rolling. And we're a few weeks into it now, but I think it's important that like just because it might not be like on social media or in the news as much, like they're going to need our support for literally years to come.
I mean, it's devastating.
Like, and the amount of animals that have
1 billion estimated.
Literally
like,
heartbreaking.
I can't think about it. I will start crying, so we'll leave it at that.
And also, fuck the Red Cross.
Yeah, if you're going to make donations, we'll leave links in the description, and we'll do swipe ups. I have been on my personal page, but we'll leave it in the description for the episode. You can donate to smaller organizations like Wildlife Rescue South Coast. That is a good one that our friend Bianca has been sharing. And yeah, we just encourage you, if you can, please donate. Yeah, I saw a reference picture of like the size of Australia. Compared to it's the entire,
United States.
Yeah, where it's burning. Yeah, it's insane. So that's that. Also, just want to do a quick love to The Bachelor started again, and I'm so excited. You don't watch it because you don't have cable. But
I don't watch it because I don't have cable. I choose to not have cable because that shit's poison.
It's so cringy, but it's so good, and I can't stop watching it. If you want to talk Bachelor, slide in my DMs. So now we'll get into our pro tip. Go for it. I like that.
So this isn't sponsored, but
really not, but it should be. If you want to pay us, let us know.
Everything should be sponsored. But
Facts.
I just want to talk about OfferUp. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but I just kind of want to like reinforce how dope that shit is because I've listed everything from like furniture to like tech gear to like art. and I've like sold everything for like a solid price. It's like secure because it's through the app, so it's like not sketchy like with Craigslist. Like,
oh yeah, what is Craigslist? Like, no, we don't use Craigslist.
We don't
around
go
here.
We don't go
especially
around
when there's apps as good as that, and they make it so simple and user friendly. She got this entire furniture set, literally all like so many pieces for $200 for $400,
and you can just find like the best shit like secondhand. Like, it's honestly, be careful. It is addicting.
It's dangerous
because I scroll for hours.
It's dangerous.
Every night.
That's how I am with Wayfair and Pinterest.
Yeah,
but
it's like Pinterest, but like it's all in your area, and you can just buy it right there and negotiate.
She sounds
with
like
them.
an addict right now. Don't listen to her.
I'm like justifying my offer of purchases.
Yeah, I got my coffee table, that big fat ass coffee table, like beautiful glass.
Our podcast table.
Yeah, we did. Okay, so not sponsored. Offer up if you want to pay us, let us know, and we'll do more. But yeah, that's that.
No, but it's dope if you want to sell shit and or buy shit secondhand. Yeah, for great prices.
Okay, so and also don't contribute to like the mass production of things being used and thrown away, and just give something another chance.
Yeah,
love in life.
Facts. Love that for you.
Yeah. Okay, so we will get into our description. Guys, this is gonna be a long episode.
What is it actually
called?
Discussion. Yeah. Let's get into let's get into that.
Okay, so first I want to preface this with a few things. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm gonna try to keep it concise. What?
No.
Is it an anal joke?
No, it's not an anal joke.
What's it about?
No,
is my
it's
hair
not.
fucked up?
No.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh my God. She's so nervous.
No, I'm not. You guys look at each other.
Because we're laughing that you called the discussion a description. So.
I was laughing at her preface.
What is it called? Preface?
No. It's called a preface. It's just like, I'm going to
This is why
preface
we
this
love
with
you.
a few things. And I'm just looking at our show notes, and it's just like,
There's so much.
it's just
What?
so
thought out?
thought out.
Yes,
it's
it
just
is, because
funny.
I didn't want to fuck it up, guys.
I know. No, we appreciate it. They're
We
unrelated.
appreciate you,
You're
Liv.
picking on me, guys. It's brothers. I need your support.
Me and Zach just look at each other, and she just.
I feel like the third, you know how they always say, like, I feel like a third wheel here.
It's just because you have to turn behind yourself to look
Just
at me, and
stop
Jess is
talking.
like, we're just
He's just in
instantly.
my line of eye contact. That's why I look at him all the time.
Okay.
It's not a personal thing.
Anyways.
You, I have to look at through these fucking mics. Where you at?
Okay. Can we start?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
are we ready,
my bad.
kids? Okay, here we go.
Yes.
So, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to try to keep it concise. I will breeze past some parts that really don't have a lot of value to focus on the more hefty parts. And yeah. Also, I wish Tyler could be here to speak his part, but I did ask him some questions last night, and I'm going to bring that in towards the end. And, you know, he like has a job and can't just drop everything to come here and be here with us.
I think it'd be great to like have him on in the future though. So like, that's definitely
for sure.
something that
I'm down.
the brothers can look forward to.
Yeah. I also want to preface this by saying that we aren't a perfect couple. Obviously, no one is. We still have our struggles, and we have literally gone through hell and back in our relationship. We've fallen out of love, fallen back into love. We've broken up twice, and those breakups were really necessary to our growth and to our relationship. And like I always tell Jess, and I always tell friends who are struggling, like we wouldn't be where we are now had we not had those breakups. And I also always say that breaking up was the best thing that could have happened to our relationship, which is like such a weird thing to say, but it's like my truth.
No, for sure. And you've always reminded me of that like throughout my relationships, but it's like at the same time, I think I took that too literally because 10 breakups into my last
She was
relationship.
like, okay, this is good. This is a good thing.
We're stronger. We're stronger because of it.
I feel like that's like literally so accurate, though.
Right? Unfortunately.
You're like, this is a good thing.
This is a good thing.
But yeah, had it not been for those relationships and our time apart, I wouldn't be so
Those
sure.
breakups.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure that he is my person and that like I do want to settle down with him.
For sure. Absolutely.
So I think that's good hindsight.
What is it? What's that quote? Like distance and like time make the heart grow fonder.
Yeah,
So
facts, true. And
if it's meant to be, it will be.
yeah, and I think it's also important to say that the times that we did break up, our intentions were never to get back together.
Yeah.
Like they were
very
full
important.
breakups. You know, they weren't breaks like, oh, we need space, we'll see where we end up. It was like, no, we're breaking up.
Yeah, like you saw other people.
Yeah, fucked
You had
other people.
sex with other people.
Yeah. And then, you know, like it just so happened that we did end up It just reminded me from that scene from The Anchorman with Steve Carell. And he's like, boobies.
That was from Evan Almighty.
Oh, Evan Almighty. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, PD.
Thank you,
I haven't
PD.
seen either of those, so.
Okay, yeah.
So tell us some brief history of kind of where you and Tyler met. Where you started.
Yeah, so we are high school sweethearts. We met in high school. I was in my junior year. He was in his sophomore year. I'm a cougar. It's fine. So we started dating in high school, and you know, it was just a high school relationship. Like I didn't really take much seriously back then. I don't think high school relationships can be taken too seriously. What?
I can hear Zach's breathing in the mic.
Stop breathing, PD. So we broke up in high school for a brief period, and then we got back together after the fact. But during that time where we weren't together, I actually dated someone else, like, seriously. Fell in love with him. I could say that we did love each other. Like, I won't, like, discredit that. And then he dumped me on my ass, and Tyler and I got back together. But I think that's important because Tyler watched me love someone else.
Yeah, because me and you were in high school. Like he had to see you love someone else, you know.
Well, that, and also it's like it's so cliche to say, but you really don't know what you have till it's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like
that's important to note though, because like a lot of people like can go like be in a relationship with someone else and like their ex like will never see that.
Yeah.
Because like you can be in totally different like social circles.
That's true. You
guys
can
were,
delete
like,
each other off social media.
You can
like,
never see that fucking person again.
Right.
So,
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys were in high school, so like he was kind of forced to see you guys like making out in the hallways and shit.
Well, it was different because the guy I was dating had already graduated, and like I like moved him into his college place, whatever. But I just think it's so important. Like you really don't know what you have till it's gone, and I think he learned that lesson during that period, and he had to. Because when we got back together after the fact, he was a different person. You know, like he just approached things differently. He valued my time more. He made me more of a priority. So that was that. Then we started dating again. He went away for school, so we did long distance for 2 years. I did a poll last night, and some of you asked for relationship advice for long distance. And there's like not there. It just sucks. It just sucks. No matter. Have you done long distance?
Yeah, I did long distance. I got cheated on.
It just sucks.
I'm not saying that's gonna happen to you, by the way.
If you do long distance, you will get cheated on.
That was my experience. And then die. You will have sex and die.
Yeah, so we did it, and that's hard no matter what. You know, that person's the best part of your day, and you need that physical touch. Like you do. There's no way around it. FaceTime is great, but at the end of the day, you need to put your head on their chest and just like, it's like a physical energy thing, you know?
But Tyler was also really good about it when you guys like were in long distance, because like he would like drive down. I remember there was one night he drove like throughout. You guys like had an argument.
No,
or
that's
something
when
happened,
we were
or broken up.
That's
right?
when we broke up. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy fucking drove through the middle of the night, like 5 hours to come just spend a couple hours with Olivia.
To sleep with me.
And then had to leave in the morning.
Sex.
But to
Literally
like sleep
in a
next
bed.
to you, yeah. And then left in the morning.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's the kind of man Tyler is. I'm just putting that out there.
That was crazy. And that's like a part of like our breakup story. And that was like the breakup that I consider more serious, just because we were in college and just a little more like grown and just adults. But if I have to give tips for long distance, just because I know there's a few questions about that, FaceTime is your friend, and communication is so important because that's all you have. Like, you guys need to be on the same page.
I think knowing someone's schedule definitely helps a lot, so that you're not kind of like, oh, what are they? Oh, even like in this day and age, like having someone's location,
just so you don't have to ask.
That, and I feel like that's such like there's a stigma around having someone's location, and it's because like, oh, well, it's not because you think that person's cheating or whatever it may be. It's because like you don't know if they're like, you know, still at work or if they're at the gym, and it's like you know, like
it's one less question you have to ask.
Exactly.
Like, why not?
It just eases communication. And pro tip, if your significant other is being weird about giving you their location, they're fucking sus.
Yeah, that's a red flag. I think we talked about that before.
I think we have too, but I just want to reinforce that.
Yeah, you told me I was sus because I didn't want to share my location with you guys.
PD was sus because he didn't want to give me his location.
He's cheating on us with other podcasts.
We know it. We're gonna fucking find out.
I know that there's brothers out there that feel me.
No.
That's like hey, look, it's just on principle. You gotta trust me.
fuck principle. It's 2020. My
2020, brother.
No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, trust is super important. Obviously, in a long distance, you cannot be constantly doubting that person. And if you are, if you find yourself, it's not gonna work. Just don't stress it, sis. So during that period, we broke up. I broke up with him during the long distance time. And I think that's a really important part of our story. And I had, I thought about it for months. I mean, I was in a bad place. And like,
we had multiple discussions
a lot
about it.
of conversations about it. No, I mean, it's just the truth. And I think he knows that now at this point, too. It's not that I didn't love him. It's just that spark was gone. And also, he was away and I was in Miami and we were going out. And I was, you think the grass is always greener on the other side, but it's not. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I had thought about it for a really long time. And then I finally was like, okay, it was always going to be this what if. Like, I think I wanted someone who, like, kind of had their shit together and, like, was already grown,
stable, established.
And I felt like maybe I was missing out on something. And I learned the hard way that I wasn't. But I did break up with him, pretty much broke his heart, like, bad. It was
hard.
I fucked him up, like, real bad, like, calling me at 4 a.m, like, crying in the shower type shit. Sorry if that's TMI. Love you, babe. But it's, I know, right? But, that's his truth, and he would admit to that, too, I think, if he were here.
I also think it's really important to note that it wasn't something that you wanted to do, but you knew that it was, like, something that you had to do for your growth and, like, for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's never an easy decision. And, like, when you truly love someone, like, breaking their heart really is breaking your own heart. And, like, I felt like I was breaking up with myself. It sucked. It was horrible. Obviously, it was harder for him because I was the one making the decision and he felt betrayed and, all that shit. Like, getting broken up with fucking sucks. But I felt like if it were ever going to happen, it had to happen then. If not, it always would have been a what-if situation.
Yeah. Or it would have just, like,
I would have built resentment.
Gone on too long. And like, it would have just been harder and harder had you waited any longer.
Yeah, no. I needed to do it, and I have no regrets about it to this day. I'm happy I did it then. Mm-hmm. Like, I had to learn that. I thought I wanted someone who had their shit together. And in hindsight, all these years later, I can say that building an empire with someone and building a future together is so much more fulfilling than just finding a guy who's like, oh, yeah, let me fucking pay your rent and buy you get bags. And not that that's what I wanted, but...
It's what I want. No, I'm kidding.
I think there's beauty in love and partnership, and...
There's beauty in the struggle.
Yeah, there really is, and that comes from struggling together and growing together and having that journey together, and that's what I learned. That was my takeaway. So if I could advise anything to our audience, is like, if you're feeling like you're stuck, or if you feel like you're missing out, if you feel like the spark's gone, do what you have to do. Like, don't be scared. And obviously breakups suck, and like, you want to avoid them, but it was a carefully thought out decision. I thought about it for months. Like, I didn't make any rash decisions.
Yeah. No, I remember.
But you can't let that resentment build. And not only that, it's also not fair to your significant other. Like, they deserve someone who is 110% there and in love and infatuated and has sparks and fireworks, like, that's what they deserve too. So it's almost, you're doing a disservice to them by, like, not showing up for them completely.
No, absolutely.
And at the time, he was in school, he was in Tampa, he was going to school for baseball, and he didn't know what he wanted to do with his career yet. And I don't know, I just felt like we weren't at the same place in our lives. Yeah. And as much as I loved him and wanted the best for him and wanted to be with him, I just felt like I wasn't seeing at the time enough initiative or enough drive. Like, there were things that I was questioning about our future. Yeah. And I think that ultimately at the end of the day is what made me decide, like, okay, I need to, like, do this now, Yeah. Or else, like I said, it's always going to be a what if. Like, I've hammered that, but you don't want to be, like, married to someone with 2 kids and still feel like, oh, I wonder what my life would have been like, like, and
that's
these are
the
red
worst
flags
thing.
That you
saw, like, early on, and it's like, those red flags that you tend to see early on, like if you don't do anything about it, it's ultimately what's gonna be your downfall.
And not necessarily red flags as in like a character flaw or things that are, because it doesn't always have to be like a toxic, like, we weren't fighting, we weren't arguing, it wasn't that. It was much more just my own self-reflection of my future and what I wanted for myself and what I thought it would be for us. So it was necessary. I needed that break. Yeah.
And then during that breakup, what kind of ultimately like led you guys back together? Like what did you do during that breakup?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because she's asking me, but
I'm asking for the listeners.
She already knows the entire story. She was right there
for everything.
My side chick, my go-to, which obviously I needed during that time and appreciate. But what was the question? Okay. We never stopped seeing each other. It wasn't like a breakup where we were like, bye. We went like maybe a week without talking, but we consistently kept seeing each other and like hanging out and, doing the dirty. Is that TMI too?
No.
Hold on.
I feel like it's like, yeah, you guys are definitely gonna fuck. Like you always fuck your exes like for a little bit after. Unless it's like a really fucked up breakup.
Yeah.
Like if that guy cheated on you, I hope you're not still fucking him.
Well, and if you are, live your truth. But so we like for 8 months or 9, I don't know, somewhere in that time frame, we kept seeing each other, and then honestly, like the spark kind of started to like build again there for me, and we were getting more serious, and we were about to get back together, and then he cheated on me. And this is like, we technically weren't together, but we had established that we were going to be loyal to each other. So, you
guys were together.
All right. You could see however you want. Obviously, that was a living nightmare. I was completely blindsided. And it just, I'm sure a lot of our audience can relate. It's a very common thing. A lot of people have been cheated on. It's one of the worst things to go through. And I was, obviously in a dark place. There's no easy way around it.
And it's like right as you guys are like, I mean, you break up with him.
I think that's what hurt
so bad. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, why? Like, you blew it. We were so close.
Yeah.
You fucking blew it. Yeah.
And so after you found out that he cheated, where did you guys kind of go from there?
It was hard because I was blindsided. Like, it was not his character. We had never had loyalty problems in the past. So,
Okay, that needed to come up. Good. So,
that time period was really hard, and my friends were not supportive in us trying to get back together. And obviously at first it was like, goodbye, I never want to fucking see you ever again. Like, that was my initial reaction. But he kept showing up. He was persistent. He would not leave me alone. He'd show up at my front door. And like, a part of me was just like, I can't like have this baggage of hatred and
for someone that you care so deeply about.
Well, no, not even for him, for me. I wanted to make the decision to let go of it, so I did. Like, I was like, I can't, this is too heavy, and I need to let go of it. And it was a big lesson for me about forgiveness. Like, it doesn't necessarily always have to be for that other person. You forgive them for yourself.
And it doesn't have to look like what other people want it to look like. Like, forgiveness to you can be whatever you need it to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really important too. And also, like, that was one of the hardest things during that period too, is that like my friends were being and obviously they were coming from a place of love and of protection of me, but it was hard because I did want to see him, and I did want to give him the chance to explain himself.
This was like after a while, by the way. Like, after like a couple weeks.
Yeah,
like
it was like 2 weeks.
You hated him, obviously, for the first.
I hated his fucking guts. Are you kidding me? I was like, bye. Never ever want to see you again.
And then you were just like you said, I remember you just being like so heartbroken. You were like, you were just crying literally all the time. Like, I remember like we were on a trip in California, and like I like just held you while you cried, and it was like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
But I think it shows like a lot of maturity and a lot of growth that you were able to forgive him, not only for him, but for you as well.
Yeah. And like I said, it was for me. I didn't make that choice for him, and especially like it kind of was quick. Like we kind of started hanging out again pretty soon after, like sooner than I would have rathered. One, because he was persistent and wouldn't leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Two, well, he knew he fucked up too. I mean, he took all accountability, and you know, I think a big thing in cheating is like why did you do this to me, or like what do I lack that you were looking for in someone else? And I think something that's really, really important, something that I took away from it was like it wasn't about me, it was about him. He was still hurt. He felt like I betrayed him, and he had a chip on his shoulder, and he felt like he needed to seek revenge in some subconscious fucked up way, and he admitted to that and he communicated that, which obviously doesn't justify what happened, and I never let him justify it. But me understanding why it
Where he
happened
was coming from.
helped me in my healing process.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like for me to be like, oh, okay, you felt hurt, you felt betrayed, and you felt you needed to get back at me. It still doesn't make it okay, but it does help me. It's healing for some reason, understanding why.
Yeah.
You know?
And in hindsight, like looking back at it, how do you feel about it?
I'm happy we went through it. Everything, you know, I'm definitely a believer, and I think we've preached this on the podcast, is like, everything happens for a reason, and every experience you learn from, and in hindsight, I am glad we went through it, and I'm glad it happened then. And it's something I feel like, it's fucked up, but I feel like it's something I can check off, like, okay, cheating, like, we've gone through that experience together, you know? I feel like it happens at some point in a lot of relationships, and I'm almost happy it happened then versus like, because we've gone through it. We know how fucking shitty it was. We know we never ever want to experience that again. I mean, we hit rock bottom together, and we needed to do that. Like I said, I wouldn't be so sure that we could get through life if we hadn't gone through those hardships.
And like, thank God it happened when it did. Not like,
imagine if we had 3 kids and we're married, you know, and that happens all the time.
Happens way too frequently.
And you know, I would like to say, and I truly believe in my heart, that will never be a problem ever again, because we never had loyalty issues in the past.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't like it was a reoccurring thing, because ladies, if it's a reoccurring thing, you gotta check yourself. Like, don't be that girl who's getting cheated on by the same guy constantly. Like, that's not it, sis. So, and for our listeners out there who have been cheated on by their significant other, I would say that if you could take anything away from this, it would be, 1, understand why, helps with healing, and get down to like the real reason why. Like, try to understand like what void they were trying to fill, instead of taking it personally. Like, understand why they did it. Like, you can't take that personally.
Well, yeah. And you absolutely cannot take it personally. It has, like, them cheating on you has nothing to do with you.
And it sucks.
But I also feel like it's not your responsibility to get down to the why of why they hurt you, unless you're searching, like, unless you're trying to heal. And
that's what I meant.
And like, ultimately, like, maybe even like stay together. Because, like, if that person's just a scumbag and they took home Sally from the fucking bar, they're not filling a fucking void. They're just a scumbag.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's also important to know.
Well, they're a scumbag, but obviously everything goes and everything's deeper than that, right? Like, you can look into someone's past life experiences or past traumas and figure out, oh, like, did they have mommy issues? Like, why are they doing that? You know, that helped me at least understand the real root of it.
But I just mean, like, if you're not trying to take someone back, like, just understand that it has nothing to. I know. I'm just clarifying.
It helps in healing.
Yeah, no, and I'm just clarifying for the people. Like, you can also just chop it up to, like, that had nothing to do with me. Like, that person's
don't take
damaged,
it personally,
and you're moving on to the next thing.
Absolutely, and also do what feels right to you, and take others' opinions with a grain of salt. I might have mentioned this previously, but Jess was my only friend out of all my friends who, like, had my back during that time, and me giving him another chance, and, like, thank God she was my saving grace, and my mom was supportive too, but everyone else was like, fuck him, he doesn't deserve a second chance. And, like, to have that one person who's like, do what feels right, like, I needed all the, like, kind of confidence and validation I could get at that point.
Yeah, because
So
you feel crazy. You're like, I can't take this person back, you know?
Totally. And even just having that one person to vouch for you and vouch for your relationship is really important.
Yeah.
And do what feels truly right for you and your heart and what makes you happy. Because looking back, if I had listened to all my friends who were like, fuck that, if he did it now, he'll do it again. Had I listened to that, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at with him.
Absolutely.
With that being said, getting back together was obviously, you know, it took time. Gaining trust back, you can't rush that. It took like probably a year of me just like still randomly breaking down and crying, like crying during sex, crying in bed, like literally it takes time. It takes time. I can honestly it took an entire year for me to be like, okay, that's in the past.
I also feel like it's important to note that like Tyler was really patient with you as well. Like I in a relationship that I had in the past, I had someone cheat on me and I tried to take them back after it, and only like weeks and like months after, like I would be upset, and like that person would be like, you said that you forgave me, like, you know, like I thought we were past this, and it's like you don't get to like hurt me and then not validate my feelings when I am feeling insecure or like whatever it may be. Like I remember even one time like they went out and like I had their location and then they like turned off their location because we like got in an argument, and I was like, you can't do that. That's fucked up. Like you've cheated on me. Yeah. And they were like, you know, you're supposed to trust me now. And I was like, and that's a toxic ass relationship.
It doesn't work like that. Yeah. It really doesn't.
Tyler was like, you know,
he validated my feelings. He understood. And that's a thing too. Like you're entitled to take as much time as you need to take to heal. Yeah. And if someone's telling you that you're not healing fast enough or that they deserve your trust back, fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Big fuck them.
No, that's not okay. And you like definitely stand your ground and be like, no. That's not how this works. I decide. Yeah. Like if you fucked me over, I get to decide how I want to heal.
And that's not to say like be vindictive or, you know, hold a grudge, because this is about like, you know, healing and moving forward. But at the same time, heal at whatever pace that you need to heal. And if that person is truly there for you and truly sorry, then they'll respect whatever time you need to heal.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, I acknowledge his truth. I never let him justify like what he did. And he would, you know, he's not a perfect person. He would try sometimes to be like, oh, but you, and I'm like, no. I'm like, shut the fuck up. But, you know, I did acknowledge his truth and his betrayal, and he acknowledged mine. And I think that's why it worked. And that's why we were able to slowly but surely get back to a place of like, oh, God, thank God that's in the past, you know? Yeah.
Seriously. That was such a shitty time.
Also, I want to point out, I know I said this already, but this was my situation, and it happened once. Had this been a reoccurring thing, I would have a completely different outtake. Like, I think that goes without saying, but, like, again, if it's a reoccurring pattern, that's a flaw in character.
That person's just a shitty person.
Don't be so willing to give them a second, third, fourth, fifth chance. Like, no.
Yeah.
Don't. It's 2020.
Take it from me over here, the single one.
You didn't get cheated on, though. Well, not by the same person. Well, I'm saying in your last relationship. Like, the reason you guys broke up so many times wasn't because he cheated every time.
No, not that person.
Yeah. I got a few questions last night about moving in together, and I think that's a big situation. A lot of our audience is, you know, our age and trying to decide if they want to move in together or if they want
We're just trying to save on rent.
Buy a place together, and it's a big decision to make. I think it's fair.
Especially if you're, moving in, it can be, it's hard definitely because, like, especially if you're getting, like, a one-bedroom, like, if one person moves out, you're kind of fucking that other person on rent, and if you're if you're buying a place, like... Right. And I don't know. That's a special situation.
It's a big decision, you know, just moving out from your family's place. Like if you already live alone, it's kind of less of a big decision.
Yeah, but because that person just like either moves in with you, which I feel like is a good first step. Because I don't know.
Ooh, hello.
For you is a little bit different, but like for me in the past, like either I've moved in with an ex because I've lived with two of my exes, and I moved in with one, and then the other moved in with me, which was I just preferred being in control and having someone move in with me because like it's still my space. And it was kind of just like circumstantial. But yeah, I liked having that control because when I lived with my other ex, it was like I hated
You
like
moved
being
in with him.
I
So
hated
it
like
was-
being in their space and like it wasn't mine. It just didn't feel like right.
I think it's different when you make the decision to get a place together.
For sure.
Because then it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and it's
We're
less
we're co-inhabiting this space
rather than codependent.
kind of, yeah.
You know,
I feel
like
you.
versus like I'm moving in and like you're letting me come into your space. It's like we're gonna come into a space together.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's just a different mindset.
Absolutely.
I think something that's important to note is that if you're gonna make that decision, I know a lot of people do it out of like convenience. Like it's kind of like a good time in your life, or like
or
you're sleeping
someone's
over.
or someone like kind of like your partner needs the help and it's like, oh well, why wouldn't you just move in with me
Right,
here? You know,
right.
I feel like that happens a lot.
Or that you're like doing sleepovers anyways every night, and you're like, oh well, we should just get a place together. Definitely make sure that that person is like someone you see a future with. I mean, that may seem obvious.
But like G shit, like
yeah.
picture you marrying that person, what your kids would look like, how they're gonna fucking take care of you on your deathbed, because if you can't see all those things, like don't waste your time.
You guys need to be, and with that being said, make sure that you guys are, on the same page about your future together, like what type of lifestyle, like you need to have
timelines, like whatever it may be, because you could be like, oh yeah, we're moving in together, this is a huge step, and then he's like, oh well, I still don't foresee myself being ready to like propose or this in like this many years, and you're like, well, I'm on this type of timeline, or
That's I'm glad you brought that up. That's a great point about the timeline, because I think when you get to our age, and not necessarily we're a little young for it, but like in your older 20s, women do this thing where they're like, okay, if we move in together now, we'll live together for 2 years, and then we'll get engaged by this age, and then I'll have 3 years, and then we'll have a baby, and then I'll have a baby at 30. Like they try to we try to plan this out, especially when we like get older. And I don't think men think that way at all. Men are just like, when it happens, it happens.
yeah, oh yeah, we'll move in together,
But
it's fine.
don't just do something just for the timing of how it's gonna work out.
How it might play out, because
nothing
the universe does not work on your timeline.
Predictable. That's the only thing that's predictable is that only thing that's predictable is that nothing is predictable. So with Tyler, like, had I not seen the potential for growth, and had he not shared a similar version for life, it wouldn't have worked, And I think that's really important to note. And moving in together, I got questions like, what steps did we take? What was the financial plan? Steps we took.
I'm interested to know, even before that, like when you guys like made that decision, how was the discussion? Like how did that go?
He had moving back from college. He did 2 years in Tampa.
He had moved back.
Yeah, I said that.
He had moving back.
Did I say moving? Anyway, he had moved back from college, and we were doing the sleepover thing. Like he moved back in with cannot fucking talk. He moved back in with his family. I was living with my mom, so it was like every night we would switch between like my place, his place, my place, his place. I got tired of packing sleepover bags,
living out of your car essentially.
I like hated just packing my life every few days. So we were like, this sucks. Let's get a place together. It's time. So, and we didn't want to buy anything. That's like too much commitment at the time.
How long were you guys together after that one breakup? Like how long from that breakup to the moving in?
Maybe 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. That's solid.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of history at that point.
Yeah, right. We had been together like 6 years.
That's like the next step, really.
Yeah, and it felt like appropriate. Like we were like just ready to not be living with our parents anymore. We wanted to take it. It felt natural. It didn't feel forced.
Yeah.
We saved, and the financial plan was that we rented. We didn't want to buy. It was too much commitment at the time, which I think is a good move if you're going to move in with your significant other for the first time. Definitely rent.
Yeah.
I would say. Because you also don't know what it's going to be like living with someone.
Yeah. Like, you think, like, you spend a lot of time at their, like, house and whatever it may be, but, like, truly living with someone, spending
you get 90% to know someone
of your time
real well. And it's funny because Jess even said, she's like, oh, be careful because, you guys haven't lived together before. You might fight. And I was so like, no, we spend every day together. We sleep together every night. We're not going to fight about anything.
I was like, that's cute.
And sure shit, we did. We fought a lot when we first moved in together. mostly about dishes and chores, which seems so stupid, but I mean,
Olivia, let's preface this with, Olivia can be a bit,
nagger.
Yeah, just a little bit anal.
I get that from my mom.
You really do. And just as our friendship has developed, like, because you would always tell me, and I would always hear Tyler being like, you're acting like your mom, and like you hate that, you know.
Not that I love my mom.
Yeah,
love
she's
you,
great. Love you, bro.
But it's those tendencies
obviously just being
that,
compared to like your parent, you're like, don't compare me to my parent, and like
you're acting like your father. Like, why is that the worst insult? It really is.
I don't want to act like my father.
It really is. It stings.
But it's so funny though, because like now you do shit, and I'm like, you're acting like your mom, like, because I know.
It's so funny.
So I feel like it's just funny because you're saying like the dishes and shit, but like those are also like just your little nuances that like
they're little things, and it sounds little, like, oh, we fight about the dishes, but it's more than that. It's the principle. It's like, you don't respect my time, or like, you know, it goes
like,
into more.
You're sitting on the couch playing your fucking video games. Like, do the dishes for me before we get home.
If I come home from a long day of work, I want them shits clean.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's usually like roles reversed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And we still argue over dishes. Like, you know, I still get annoyed about chores and things. Like, I do think he could help more. And I'm like, I have a rule. If I cook, you clean. Done.
Yeah.
No arguments. I think that's fair.
Absolutely.
And I still have to be like, can you fucking clean up? So, you know.
Yeah.
But I always say, like, if dishes are the worst things we're fighting about, like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. And so when you guys did move in together and you started, like, having these fights, and it's like, I mean, I know your living situation. It's like, you know, it's a 1-bedroom, but like, you can't really get away from someone if you're upset in that situation.
Yeah.
So like, I'm curious, and I feel like other people would be curious about like how you dealt with that. Like when you were really fucking pissed off, where did you go? What'd you do?
I would leave. Obviously, I had nowhere to go, but I'd go somewhere in my car. I've gone to a Walgreens parking lot. I'll call you crying. Like, you know, I went to this place where I would watch the sunset and fucking put my AirPods in and rollerbladed my heart out and like cried. It kind of sucks. Emo. Kind of sucks though, because you realize at the time, like my mom had moved back to New York, and like my dad and my sister were here, but I didn't want to like inconvenience them. So it's a real like grown up wake up moment of like, oh shit, I have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You know, and you just like had to stay in your car. But no, I mean, it's important, like you said, like you mentioned about my mom, it's important to self-reflect and see what your tendencies are, because that will come up a lot when you move in together, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I felt like when I would come home and bitch about the dishes, I felt like my mom. I know that feeling, you know? And I still hate that he plays video games. I think they're fucking stupid. But he's communicated that that's his version of self-care, and like I have to...
It's decompressing, essentially.
I have to respect that, and I have to accept it, and you have to be willing to compromise in some aspects of the relationship.
For sure. And I think it's important to note that like not everyone's like, no one's going to be like absolutely perfect
person.
Like as much as like people
not,
are like, oh, they're perfect for me, and like he is in his own way, you know. But that's because you've chosen that he's perfect for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you accept him for like those little nuances, and whether it's like the fact that he's a little bit messy or even a little bit lazy, and you know, obviously it's all subjective, but I think it's important to say that like you accept that, and you choose him, and you continue to choose him every day despite those things that bother you.
Yeah, that partnership and that commitment is a choice. And because you know, everyone thinks like, oh, I could find someone else who loves me and cleans for me and
never plays video games.
Right. And like, okay, for example, like he's not the guy who's gonna leave me a basket of my favorite candies when I have my period. That's not Tyler. That's never been Tyler. That's not his love language. And like I would see other boyfriends doing that, and I'd be like, oh, like I wish that's so sweet. But he makes up for it in other ways. And I think it would be asking too much of someone to expect them to love you unconditionally and do that. I mean, if you have that person in your life, here's to you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But my point is you have to be willing to compromise in some aspects. And like I said, he loves me in other ways.
Yeah.
And would I rather have someone who brings me a basket of candy, but then is like fucking toxic and manipulative.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I think it's important to, note that, like, you said it, like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but, like, we can really, like, get carried away with, like, oh, well, I could find someone that, doesn't do this and doesn't do that, but it's also, like, you also have to appreciate, what's in front of you.
What they do for you.
Jesus. And I feel like learning people's love languages is really huge with this, because I didn't even know this was a thing until my most recent relationship, because I was like, why doesn't he do these things for me and these things for me? And then I realized he does all these other things for me.
Right.
And it's like, that's just, and I think it's important, like, your love languages, like, have to match up, like,
Well, how so?
well, like, when I say that they have to match up, I mean that, like,
They need to fit like a puzzle piece together. Not that they need to be the same.
No, they don't need to be the same. Like,
But
they
that
just
they
need to
should
be
complement each
They should
other.
complement each other.
Right.
Like the way that they show their love is a way that you, like, hopefully a way that you like to receive love.
Right.
And it's like,
right.
And a lot of the times, like, yeah, just because that's someone's love language doesn't mean that, like, you have to compromise on, like, how you like to receive love. Because if, the candy basket when you get your fucking period is something that means, like, the world to you, and your person doesn't really, do those types of things, like, but they love you in other ways, like, maybe that's more important to you, and, like, that's completely fine.
Right. And it's important to, like, self-reflect on that, because, like, I would love to get that. Not saying that I wouldn't, but I also have values. Like, it's like someone showering me with, like, Gucci bags and, materialistic stuff. That's not what I care about.
Yeah.
I care about spending time together. I care about affection and loving each other and, like, physical touch. So that those are the things that are important to me.
Yeah.
So if someone was oh my God, wow. If someone was spoiling me in materialistic things, it wouldn't match up.
Yeah,
it wouldn't complement.
exactly.
It wouldn't complement
But
how I like to receive.
But
my
some
love.
people, like, they
that's
really
good for you.
appreciate gifts and things like that. And if that's your thing, then that's completely fine. I just
Right.
feel like it's important to find a partner that complements it.
we want to do a whole other episode about love language.
Yeah.
But we want to have an expert on. Since
Yeah.
We want to be on point. I got a few questions last night, like, what are the things that we struggle with and relationships? Like, I'm hammering this home, like, even though we just got engaged, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have kids together, like, that doesn't mean the relationship is perfect ever. And especially in a time where social media is so prevalent and people are couple goals and things, there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that you don't know about.
see. It's
Like,
crazy.
I promise you, your most idolized perfect couples, like, no.
Or even not even couples, like, just people in general
Yeah.
who, like, look like they have it all fucking put together. They look perfect on social media.
And then
like,
you meet them in person and they're the most self-conscious person.
that,
in
or
the
they're
world.
just like, or they're not as cute as their photos or whatever it may be. I think it's important to note that, like, we've said it before, say it again, social media is a highlight reel. People can have the most fucked up relationship, yet they're making it look beautiful on social media.
Yeah.
People can look like they have it all put together, but their fucking lives are in shambles.
It's almost like
so-
it's almost more sketchy when someone is, like, really flaunting their relationship every day. It's like, okay, you're obviously trying to, like, make this something. It's
yeah.
Anyways, I was getting some questions about the things that we do struggle with, and I self-reflected, and I realized that our fights happen when we're both not level-headed, because usually we are, like, just and by nature pretty level-headed people. Like, we don't make rash decisions, and we're not crazy, but he acts like an asshole all the time. Like, if he's
I tell him he's an asshole all the
but
time.
it's important to know your person's triggers, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know
It's
if he's
beyond
uncomfortable,
huge.
like, if his pants are too tight, or, like, if he's just uncomfortable at all, if he has to shit, if he
I was
really
gonna
has
say
to
it.
shit,
I wasn't gonna say it, but I know that's what it is.
or if he's hot, like, if he's temperature hot, he's a fucking asshole. And
Yeah.
I know whatever he says and does not to take it personally. Like, he
Yeah.
can literally say whatever, and I'd be like, that's cute.
Oh, baby,
But-
let's get you some AC.
Yeah, let's take your belt off, go poopy.
and then come back to me.
I'll joke with him like in that way, and he's like, I fucking hate you in that moment. But it's so important because if I took all that seriously, we would get in, I mean, it would be wrecked.
You have to fucking pick and choose your battles.
And vice versa. Like, he knows when I'm hangry, I'm a fucking psychopath. Mm-hmm. I am a raving bitch on wheels.
Let's go through some of your triggers.
Oh my God.
When she's hangry.
Hanger's the biggest one for me, 100%. With him, at least.
When you're uncomfortable, that's huge for you too. Not that you'll act a certain way, but you will like.
I have less tolerance.
You have less tolerance. You're like trying to get like the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
If you.
She knows.
If you feel like you're like, oh, man, I'm just thinking about that one time in the club.
In the club.
I was thinking about that one time in the club. We talked about this.
In our friendship episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like felt super claustrophobic and like started getting anxious and like
for the exit
and fucking left me in the crowd by myself. And then
bad friend moment.
Yeah, it was. But you know, we learned from it.
Yes.
And so I think it's really important to know your people's triggers.
Know your triggers because that right there will eliminate 80% of arguments because you just don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like the other day I was hangry. That's what I was laughing about the other day. I was so angry. And he knows. He's like, I'll say something. He's like, you gotta eat.
Yeah.
Like, he'll just fuck with me because he knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he said, but I was like, for the place we just bought, I put a little bit more down on the down payment, and he's going to pay me back. I told him I'd sue him.
What? You told him that you would sue him?
Like, we were going back and forth just bantering, and I was like, bitch, I'll sue you.
Oh my God.
And then later, after I'm eating, I was like, I said I'd sue you. I was like, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't believe you said you'd sue me. It was just hilarious.
Yeah.
But, you know, had he taken that
at face value?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
That's like.
So he literally just laughed at it and was like, okay, let's get you some food. But
I mean, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious, but it's also like, imagine if I was serious.
Yeah.
Well, in the moment, I was serious because I was angry.
Yeah. But also, like...
I mean, imagine the fight that would cause if someone actually thought that I would... What? So it's just, you know, we're going to drive that home. Know your person's triggers. Avoid them. Or don't take them seriously when,
Yeah. I mean, I also feel like... There's even triggers that go beyond, like, the physical, which isn't just, like, being hangry or being uncomfortable. Like, there, you know,
subjects, maybe?
Yeah, like, there's things that, like, upset people. And, like, and, you know, those triggers could be literally anything from, like, family trauma, like, family shit. Like, if you know that person, like, doesn't like to talk about, like, their parents or something like that, like, don't fucking bring up their parents. Or whether it's, like, weight or appearance or, like, I know for me, a big one is, like, politics. Like,
facts.
If we have, like...
Oh my God.
Big
facts.
And I'll never really date someone that has, like, a totally different view from me because that's just morally, it's...
Values.
It's something that I just value a lot. But, you know, sometimes, you know, you can have a different, you know, opinion on something. And I'm like, listen, if we're gonna fucking... Like, if we don't have the same opinion, if you know where I stand on it, I'm very, very strong-willed when it comes to that shit. Yeah. So, like, don't fucking bring it up.
And don't be ignorant about it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and that's something for, like, in regards to me and Tyler, like, we don't. When the election back in 2014, I was like, when was it? 16? It was 16. Yeah, 16. We fought a lot. But I also... didn't feel like I don't feel educated enough in politics to really sit and have a debate with someone. So that's my thing. Like, if I don't know anything, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. And I felt like, was just taking headlines from what he's seen and throwing at me. And I was like, no. So, yeah, even if it's politics, if that's the trigger, just avoid it. There's no reason.
Don't do things that are going to get a rise out of someone.
Unless you guys are going to both have a healthy conversation. Like, it's just not necessary. Like, Tyler and I his family, like, a side of his family, we have different views politically. It's fine. We don't talk about it. Like, it's unnecessary. Yeah. We don't bring it up. You know, it's just like understood.
And I feel like if it's your partner, it's different because I feel
you'll hear each other out.
Yeah, but if it's like their family, you don't necessarily need to be bringing that shit up because, like,
it's not appropriate.
I mean, not that it's not even one, it's not appropriate, but two, like, you don't have to fucking deal with those people on a day-to-day basis. Like,
you just want to keep the peace there.
See them at holidays. Yeah. Keep things pleasant. Like,
you don't need to be on that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't talk about politics, kids.
Yeah, right.
More of the story.
Facts.
Another important thing is obviously this goes without saying. Communication is huge in any relationship. Tyler, when we first started dating, he would shut down. I mean, and I think that's just a problem with men in general, and toxic masculinity is like men just aren't encouraged as much to share their emotions, and I think that has some long-term effects in how they deal with relationships.
Yeah, because they can't be
They
articulate
can't
with
be
how they're
vulnerable.
Well, that
They need to be these big, strong men, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like it also leads to like them not being able to express fully like how they feel, because I feel like for a long time I also shut down, which in relationships like I can tend to get like, you know, just really like angry or whatever, really defensive. So I tend to shut down rather than like
Expressing.
extend instead of like expressing and being articulate with how I am feeling.
But also that requires a level of vulnerability, which then requires a level of security. Like you can't open up and be vulnerable if you can't trust
glad
that,
you said that.
if you can't trust that person's gonna like actually hear you. What?
I love that you said this.
Why?
Because
Tell me more.
in my last relationship, we broke up a million times. I've said this before, but it's like I pretty much lost every argument because like I didn't feel like I could like say exactly what I needed to say because I felt like they were gonna leave me.
Yeah, God, yeah, and that is not the place you want to be. Like, for you to open up and truly be vulnerable and transparent. Like, it needs to be a safe place.
Absolutely,
You
like
know, where
you,
that's nurtured.
like you need like and not speaking your truth and like saying like what's exactly on your mind.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Just it really ultimately led to like the demise of our relationship.
You shouldn't have to you shouldn't have to critically think about every single sentence and how it's going to be perceived. And it's important to think before you speak, obviously, but
you guys need to be on the same page. You guys have to know each other's intentions. Like,
yeah, intentions are huge. We've talked about that in so many episodes too. Is like, because so much can be left unsaid when you are clear on each other's intentions.
Yeah, exactly.
And not misstrued and not manipulated. Because I feel like that was a big problem in your last relationship. It's like he would make his point and then you'd be like, oh, you don't even get it.
Yeah.
So then like the communication isn't even going into the situation being resolved. It's going into like, wait, you literally just don't understand like where I'm coming from and like what my intentions are.
Yeah.
And in communication, understanding each other's boundaries is super important. Like, obviously, the triggers, but boundaries, because it goes without saying, but everyone has their own boundaries. And, like, Tyler and I just went through one of our most recent arguments was, like, you know, something about... And Tyler's not the jealous type at all. Obviously, I do modeling. I've been doing modeling. He's never, like, where are you? Who are you with? Like, he never gives me shit. And that, thank God, it wouldn't work if it were anything else. But we have a guy friend who's really close with us, and we would spend time with him just hanging out and, you know, not thinking anything of it because I know my intentions, I know my heart. But for Tyler, he had to draw a boundary for me. And it was hard for me to, because honestly, I rarely have to admit that I'm in the wrong for things or be like, okay, I see. It's hard for me to admit that, but that was a situation where I had to take a step back and be like, you know what? That's your boundary. It doesn't matter what I think in my head the situation is. I have to respect the line you're drawing.
Absolutely. And instead of being defensive and trying to justify like whatever it was, being like, okay, you've expressed how you feel. I respect that. I validate that. Like, that's really all it needs to be. Like, sometimes you need to like take that step back and just like surrender.
Yeah, and I could say all I want, but you know you have nothing to worry about. Like, this was before we were engaged, but I was like, you know, everyone knows we're basically married, but that's not the point. I could say that all I want. That's not the point. The point is he had a boundary and he didn't want me to cross it. Like, he was drawing the line, and you need to respect that in your significant other. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
And not like gaslight someone or let someone gaslight you. Like, if you have a boundary and you're like, hey, I don't really like that one, like if you talk to your ex, like, and maybe they're
let's talk about that. I feel like that's a really common issue.
Yeah. And it's like, if that's your boundary and it's something that you're uncomfortable with, like of course, like they can have friends, they can be in a friendly place with that person. But like, let's say you like catch them talking to them a few times, and it's just like rubbing you the wrong way. Like, you have every right to like express how you're feeling and set that boundary. And if they don't respect that, then that says a lot more about them than it does you.
Because it's almost about the principle. It's like, oh, I don't fucking care if. And of course, with everything, there's a line. You want to be, because I believe in having like just healthy civil relationships with your exes. Like, you don't have to hate each other. You don't have to love each other. You don't even have to talk. But like,
there's no reason to. Like, you shared, something special
in your life.
So I feel like that it goes both ways. Like, you shared something really special with that person.
Yeah.
You were like in love with them, or you grew with them. You spent years of your life. So it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, you guys should be on civil terms, but you also should not be super fucking close.
Yeah.
Which is like,
especially if you're in another relationship, you should respect.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, if one of my, if my boyfriend was like super tight with their ex, like, and it wasn't like pre-communicated, like,
nope.
It wasn't like communicated early on, like, hey, I'm still like, this is a situation, like, I'm really good friends with them, like, if that's something that bothers you, it's not really negotiable for me, like, that's understandable. But if it's like months into the relationship and you like just happen to see that person's name pop up on their phone and you're like, oh, well, what? I'm friends. Like,
yeah.
Like, that would rub me the wrong way. I'm not psycho,
100%.
but I'm going to be like, don't fucking do that. Don't fucking talk to your ex.
Yeah, like, no. Like, why even have that as a doubt or a worry? It's unnecessary. And I think your significant other, he or she, should respect that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a problem in my last relationship. Like, I caught him, like, Snapchatting her, and, like, they weren't, like, saying anything.
It's just unnecessary.
But like, what the conversation was, it was like, like, I was like, I miss you, or like, I love you, and it wasn't not. Like, it was. Don't get me wrong, it was a little bit more on like the platonic type of side, like, you can just tell, but at the same time, it's like, yo, like, have some respect for me, like, that person, and you don't know the other person's intentions, like, maybe they're trying to like weasel their way back into like your relationship, and it's like, you can communicate that, and if that person's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter because I love you, well, it's like, also, you need to respect my boundary.
I know you love me, but also this is my boundary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I can say, like, when we had that conversation, and it was nice because, one, he communicated really well, and I was like, oh my God, this is such a relief. Like, I'm so glad you're communicating this with me. And he was like, I need to say it so that, like, I'm covering my own ass, so that if this comes up, I can say, I told you. You know? And I was like, look at you. Like, he's still like,
bro.
No, he really does. He impresses me all the time with stuff like that. And I'm like, because he was not that way when we started dating. Like, I have watched him really mature and grow into a man who I'm like, wow, like, I did that. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. I don't take credit for that. But, I was a positive influence, I like to think, in his maturing, but I forgot my point of that. Oh, his communication. It just, like, I started the conversation by saying he was totally closed, and now he's like, hey, this is bothering me. I would like to bring it to your attention. And I'm like, oh,
and the way that you communicate that is just like, you can respect someone so much more when it's like in my situation, when I saw those Snapchats, it was a holiday. I was a little bit fucked up. I popped the fuck off. I was like, why the fuck? I was like, why the fuck are you, messaging this person, instead of being like, hey, I saw this. It's, makes me really uncomfortable. Like, I definitely attacked, instead of like taking a step back. Yeah, I went about it the wrong way entirely. And like, whatever. Shit happens.
You learn, though.
Hindsight's 20/20. I can say like, oh, I don't think that I would necessarily do that now. Wait, guys, I need to tell you.
Oh my God, what?
About the time that I caught one of my exes cheating, like 2 exes ago, I caught this guy cheating. And
is that how you put the girl on blast on Twitter?
No. Oh. That was
something else.
That was the first guy.
Oh, okay.
Cheated on me.
Yeah.
No, but like, so I don't know. You can go about these things in like different ways. I wasn't like as like
mature.
Well, one, mature, and like a lot of people like hold it in, like they hide that they know, and they like bring it out in, like some like
sly way,
or and they have a good conversation about it. Like for me, I was like sleeping next to this person. I was sleeping next to this person, and he got a call in the middle of the night, and it was back when like the phones had like the thumb thing. And when I woke up to his phone ringing. I like looked at it. When I had picked it up, no, I did. Okay, I can honest to God say I didn't do that. But
We've all been there.
But when I don't even know if I've said this before. I might have. But when I picked up the phone, the call went away. Like it wasn't a girl or anything. But the phone was unlocked for some reason when I had looked at it. I don't know how. It was like a fluke, whatever. But I wasn't gonna take this opportunity for granted. And so...
Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do. The universe wants me to.
No, looky.
Scroll. Regardless, so like I start going through his shit, and I find these messages from some fucking girl, and they weren't like super incriminating. And of course, to preface that, he was Hispanic, so I had to translate everything.
Oh my god!
I went into this guy's WhatsApp.
Oh my god, for like 4 a.m.
4 a.m, translating shit on Google motherfucking Translate. And
oh, that's horrible.
And so I'm like going through this, and I just get that fire in me. It was just game over. I blacked
Jesus,
out.
take the wheel.
I start getting hot, and I get that pit in my stomach, and I was just like, this, and I knew that he was like a light, not like a light,
women on it,
pretty much, honestly. And so whatever, like the messages were like, he was fucking saucing up some fucking bitch, and so
some little Spanish mommy,
and so I fucking shake him awake. I'm like, hey, what the fuck? And he wakes up and he's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, who the fuck is Maria Elena?
Oh my god.
And he's like, what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
My
like,
god,
I don't know who this is, and whatever. Like, I popped the fuck off on him. He's like, I basically kicked him out of my place at like 4 a.m.
Oh, love that for you.
Yeah. That's
Power
just a
move.
little fun side story to that.
Power move.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy.
Cheating's so much fun.
Took him back after that.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't even him. That wasn't him even cheating on me. He like actually cheated on me after that.
Oh,
See,
Jesus.
guys,
red
flags.
It happens.
But
pay attention.
This person was like, oh, it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just a friend of mine. Whatever.
It's also important to know when they're being manipulative, and again, if it's a recurring pattern, yes, say goodbye, sis.
Yeah, like I definitely ignored some of those red flags because you want to believe someone's better than
you could have avoided a lot of probably self-torture.
Yeah.
I asked Tyler last night what his input would be for this episode since he can't be here physically. I said like pretty much why do you think our relationship works? He said one of the reasons was that we're both busy, which is
huge.
Good point, because it's huge. It's gonna be huge. Anyways, it's an important point to make because we both are busy as fuck. Like, I'm doing my own shit. He's in something that's totally unrelatable. Is that unrelated? He's
but
in
you guys
construction.
also have that passion project together, which is also really nice.
Yeah, that's nice, and that merges us together. We have like the duplex we bought, and we're renovating that together, and that's like a shared like dream and goal of ours. But we're in the day, it's like he's out doing his thing, I'm out doing my thing, and he said I still feel refreshed when I see you at the end of the day.
Yeah, you guys aren't up each other's assholes.
And if you're in a relationship and you guys are fighting a lot, make sure you're not up each other's assholes. Make sure you both have your own hobbies, your own interests, your own work going on. Not that I think it's awesome when couples do work together, like it's a power couple.
Yeah. Like with Vicky and Johnny.
Yeah, I thought of them too.
Yeah,
and they
she
do
was
all
like
their
our
work
first.
together.
She was our first guest on. Definitely go listen to that episode. It's really great. We get into like talking about like
what it's like to work with your significant
other,
other,
like being like partnering and whatever. But
it's important that you have your own things.
I don't know where I was going with that.
He also said, what do you think helps us in arguments? I'm like, or why? Because when we argue, honestly, like now we've gotten to a point where arguments and blowouts are very far and few in between, which took a long time to get here.
Because you know how to communicate with each other.
We just know each other's very well. And like I said, we know each other's triggers. But he said, I was like, why do you think we don't argue? He's like, there's no point in arguing. He's like, there's no point.
It's not like you guys are going to fucking break up.
He's like, we know we're spending our life together. Like, pretty much pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Like, what is ultimate, unless it's like something that is really bothering you and you have to get it off your chest. If it's like something stupid, like truly pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy to fight over shit that is because sometimes you end up fighting about what you're fighting over, and then you're like, what the fuck are we even fighting over?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Big facts.
Like, he also said it's important to be happy with yourself first, which is huge, I think, and like, he's saying like, don't be codependent.
Don't like look to someone else for your happiness. Like,
Yeah,
you guys need to both have.
And we've said this multiple
individual happiness.
times. We preach this. You have to be happy with yourself and come together and make a happier situation versus finding happiness in each other.
Yeah, like you can't, and also you can't be pouring from an empty cup. Like,
Yeah, so just be aware of your codependent habits and patterns that are coming up.
it's probably because you're filling a void, like that you don't like, because you don't love yourself enough. Like, you're looking for someone else to kind of, you know, fill that void for you, and it's like, you like the universe is going to teach you and put all these situations in your life until you learn that lesson and until you really begin to love yourself. So
Yeah.
I would definitely self-reflect on
Yeah,
that.
whether it's confidence or, you know, affection, whatever it is, like you just gotta work on yourself. And I think that's the whole theme of our podcast, is just being the best version of yourself. And if you're single right now, like, I was talking to a friend of mine on set, and he was like, I don't know what to do. I just really like want a partner in life. And I was just telling him, like, work on being the best version of yourself, so when that person comes along, you're ready for them.
Dude, I tell this to everyone I know.
It's the best thing you can do.
And yeah, you
do
can
that future partner a favor.
Yeah, and you can want like a partner, like that's cool. Like I feel like we all definitely want someone, but I feel like I know that, and of course, like I've felt that, you know, in the past couple months, like, you know, I've wanted a partner, but whenever I do start to feel like that, I kind of take a step back and wonder, like, okay, what do I want that partner for? Like, what is it that I'm not giving myself? And so I start to think about like dating myself, and no, I really do. Like, I do the things like, oh, what would I want a partner for? Oh, it's like go to the beach or to do this or do that. And I'm like, I go to and I do those things, and I find happiness like by myself and within myself. And then once you're able to do that, dude, like you're pretty much like unstoppable. Like, and you also don't settle when you feel, when one person comes along and you're like, oh, well, I need to hold on to this person because, you know, I don't want to be alone. It's like, you're not worried about being alone. You're worried about finding the best fit for yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're not worried about like settling.
Yeah. I love that. And take care of yourself the way you would take care of someone in your life, you know? Like, truly love yourself in that same way.
So we know that we talked about a lot here.
I'm exhausted from talking.
Yeah. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people have been curious as to, you know, what the inner workings of your relationship are, especially because you guys have been together for so long, and you are so lucky to have found your person so early on. Not that it's been easy by any means, but, I mean, you're 24, you just got engaged, and you guys are buying a duplex, and he's even younger than you are. So, like, that's amazing, and you guys have a really good thing going. But what would you say that your biggest, like, takeaways from this episode would be?
I want to say I just feel like super, super blessed. Like, our relationship is like something honestly that I'm most proud of just in life, just because we have put so much work into it. It's like, I think people forget that
that's how I feel
it's
about
so
our
much
friendship.
hard work. It's not always easy. It's not always pretty. It's ugly, you know? And you have to embrace those struggles because it does make for a happier end situation. But I would just say, if you guys are in relationships and if you're looking for how to get into healthy ones, just understand that it's all ebbs and flows like everything else in life. It comes in waves, you know, like I said, I've fallen in love with him, I've fallen out of love with him. Like, sometimes the spark isn't always there, but like you said, it's about when you have a life partner and you're talking about marriage and spending forever with someone, it's about choosing them every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's something, you know, there's going to be periods where you are fighting, and I don't know, just love and commitment for life is a choice, and you got to choose that person every day. Yeah, that's it.
Love that.
Okay.
Love that for you, brother.
So, on a lighter note,
We are going to do a game that we have been wanting to do for a
excited.
while. Olivia, as I'm sure you guys can tell or have heard, she can't say anything right. Literally, like, if someone's name is Dave, she's calling him Dave.
Dave.
Like, it's really just a thing.
Wait, and also, can we just talk about how the show last night for Cirque du Soleil was what is it?
Alegria.
Alegria. I've been calling it Allegra,
The entire time.
which is a
allergy medication.
allergy medication. I'm like, yeah, we're going to Allegra tonight.
So I have
Wait, I'm gonna do a pronunciation. a pronunciation,
Yeah.
and then Jess is gonna do a spelling bee because we need to challenge each other.
Yeah.
So this is our
Guys.
this is our tea time. Clink.
Clink.
Tea time games. Clink.
I'm really good at spelling, so I'm not really concerned. I think it's gonna be hilarious.
We'll
though.
see. We got Zach on the third mic. He's gonna be our announcer, our talk show host. Let's get right into it.
So I can go first if you want, and then I'm gonna hand her this list because
I'm
obviously
scared.
Zach can't say the words because
Yeah.
then she'll know. But it's
Am
gonna
I
be.
going first? Wait, you do the spelling first.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
Okay.
Go, Zach.
So I'm gonna give Jess 5 words. Word number 1.
Wait, do you want it? Do you want to write it down, or should you try to?
Oh, I can do it. I can do it on the back if
Okay.
I need to. Yeah.
I'm interested.
Are we ready?
Yes. Let's
Yeah.
go. Ding 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 ding.
All right, Jess, for 5 points. Parallelogram.
Wait, you have to say it though.
She will. Give her a second.
Wait, should we let her write it down, or should I see it in her
You
head?
can write it down.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay. Parallelogram. Can I hear it in a sentence? No, I'm kidding.
Go.
Parallelogram.
Ding 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 ding.
Bang bang.
All right. Word number 2.
1 for 5.
Opaqueness.
I picked that one.
This is easy.
Is it?
Opaqueness.
Okay, those were the easy ones.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, I gave you 2 easy
Yeah,
ones.
here's a good one. The third word is crustaceology.
Crustaceology.
It's the study of
crustaceans.
crustaceans.
I think she's gonna get this
Oh my
one.
god.
Crustaceology.
It's not fair. Why
This
do you
one's the
have to
hardest one though, and this is
spell?
the one that
Guys,
I picked for you.
I thrive off of
can't
this shit.
say things
I
without
love
Don't get
spelling.
cocky, because I picked a good one for you next.
Okay,
Oh
wait.
god, here we go.
I've been humbled.
You better not get this one right.
Onomatopoeia.
Use it in a sentence. I don't even know. Okay, go.
Can you say it one more time?
Onomatopoeia. As in, when he sounded off the alarm, he repeated the sound with his mouth. That was an onomatopoeia.
I don't think that helps at all.
I don't even know what you just said. I also tried to
That
lean
sentence
into
is
the
fine.
microphone
I'll
because I
sound
thought
it
I was
out
going to hear
slowly.
more.
Here we go. Onomatopoeia.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Onomatopoeia. What is it?
It's Onomatopoeia.
Oh, thank God she got that
It's like
wrong, guys.
poia.
Oh, okay, so I
Poia.
just missed the O in
At the
between the
very-
P and the E. That's pretty close.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Where the fuck does that O even come from?
God damn it.
Bullshit.
Fuck you, O.
And the last one. This is a good
that
one.
out.
This one you can't write down. Whiskey.
Y'all dumb.
We just wanted to give you one.
WHISKey.
Oh gosh, that's the one she fucks up.
No, she did. She said,
I said T,
T-Y.
but well, you guys know what I
Your
mean.
lucky key is in a letter. All right, give me it, sis. Give me
All
the
right.
list. Here we go.
well, Jess was 4 for 5, so that's still
pretty good.
an 80%. You got a solid B.
How many did I
Solid.
do?
5.
You did 5.
Should
It's
I
fine.
give her 5 too?
No, fuck it. I'm gonna struggle with 4, so let's just do it.
Oh, there's 6 on here is what I was saying.
What? No, cross 2 out. Or
2?
what?
I'll cross 1 out.
Okay. Guys, I'm trying to make my life easy here
Come on,
and
Liv.
not completely embarrass myself.
It's all good. That's
Okay,
what we're.
I'm
That's what
smart.
we're coming for.
I'm still
We
smart.
want to see you embarrass yourself.
Which one do I?
Here we go.
Which one? Okay, Zach, I'm taking out your word. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ooh.
He gave us a word. We're taking it out.
Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, go. I hate you.
Okay, what's
Are
the
you good?
first one?
Okay. First one is gyro
Well,
or gyro.
I think it's supposed to be.
It's like a gyro.
G-Y-R-O.
It's supposed to be like
It's a chicken
It's
gyro.
supposed to be like Euro.
what?
Really?
Yeah.
Is
I
it
say-
like the food, the chicken,
Damn.
the Greek
Yeah.
chicken thing?
Well, then
with
I was
the
there with
sauce?
Liv because I say gyro.
Gyro or gyro? I think that's a very commonly mispronounced thing. Oof, that one's hard.
I'm gonna like look it up really quick though because
Hold on, Jess, listen.
it's it's Euro.
What?
Yeah, no, like the actual like
Gyro?
pronunciation
So like
of
a
it is
chicken gyro?
Euro. It's like a Euro.
With that like yogurt sauce and onions and tomato?
Yes, that's
on
like
the pita?
yes, a gyro. Yes.
Next
So
time I
is
go
it
back to
gyro
New
or
York,
gyro?
it's Euro.
How do they say it in Greece?
In,
I don't fucking
in
know.
Greece,
That's
I'm
important.
sure they say
Okay,
Okay,
gyro.
on to the second one. Colonel? Colonel. Colonel.
It's Colonel.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Colonel is Colonel.
It's Colonel.
What is that? What is it?
It's a Colonel. Like
a popcorn kernel?
No. Imagine popcorn kernels or popcorn colonels. No, so colonel like in the military. It's
called Colonel.
It's current like
Yeah,
remember
like Colonel
like,
Sanders.
like
L
Colonel
silent?
Sanders, like Colonel Sanders.
It's
But
Colonel.
so the L is silent.
It's just a.
Did you say the cool now? Cool,
I said
now?
colonel.
Yeah, but that's just how it's pronounced.
Well, that's fucked.
I know.
That's stupid.
Okay, that's the only one that's like that.
Okay, third one. Anemone.
I'm not even sure what the fuck the word is.
This one exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I was like,
Holy shit.
Anemone.
I'm fucking dying. It's anemone.
Anemone.
you're like Finding
There's no
Nemo.
way. There's no way.
You're like,
Anemone.
wait.
Like what in that word makes it anemone?
Everything.
Everything
the
makes
A,
it
the N, the E, the M, the O.
Anemone.
all the letters.
God. Okay.
Anemone.
Oh my God. This is so hard.
That's the hardest one. The
fourth
next one is the
is
hardest one.
Hold on. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Yeah.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
Like Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
I don't think anyone really knows how to say it.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. It's like Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
Hyperbole. Nailed that one.
Oh my god. That's not it.
That's not it either.
That's not it
I
either.
love how she goes, I know that
She
one.
goes,
I know
she
it.
goes so confident. Hyperbole.
I said nailed that one.
Hyperbole.
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 Hyperbole. Yep.
Hyperbole.
I'm going with hyperbole.
Bro, you read
No,
more
I'm
books
literally-
than Jess and I combined.
Oh my God, but there's
True,
simple
this is
words
true.
in it. There's not big words.
Hyperbole is not a big word.
Hyperbole.
We
See,
look
but-
inside like you're reading like a fucking book and you look inside and you have green eggs and ham inside of it. You're like,
Third grade reading.
you have a book inside the book. You're like,
God. Well, that was good. That's a fun little game.
Yeah,
We should
we've
play
been
that
wanting to do
often.
that. I'm gonna start
Saving words.
Saving words. that
next
you
time
always
we're making
pronounce wrong.
Jess do math problems in her head.
Oh yes, that's
That's
evil.
the equivalent.
I feel like we can't give it away. How
How fucking
Stupid we are.
stupid.
college
Truly.
dropouts. You know, I was thinking the other day we could brand this as like a college dropout thing, but I would never want to do that.
I might be going back to college.
Oh, okay, good. I hope you do
Just
so
throwing-
you can
throwing
like
that out there.
so you can be educated for us. All right, guys,
Not
that
for that.
wraps it up. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening, if you enjoyed, please share, take a screenshot.
Share your biggest takeaway. We'd really love to hear
Yeah.
what resonated with you the most.
Yeah, I hope this was concise enough. It's hard. We have 8 years of history between Tyler and I. I tried to keep it as concise and like to the point about the lessons I've learned and the takeaways. And yeah, I hope you guys found value in it and can relate to my story.
Yeah.
Don't listen to this in the car with your significant other.
Yeah. Truly.
Yeah, and I would encourage everyone to do some self-reflecting. And if you're in a relationship that you're not happy with, do what you gotta do, sis. Not encouraging people to break
Dump
up.
him. Dump him.
You can find a healthy balance of everything.
Or her.
and-
Dump her. Dump him. Be
right.
single with me.
All right. Definitely share. We love you guys. Thanks for listening and hanging in there with us. And we hope you have a fabulous week. Please subscribe to all of our channels.
Leave a rating. Review.
Leave a review.
We love you,
And
brothers.
If you haven't caught up on our other episodes, definitely check those out too. Full episodes on YouTube, everything on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And peace.
Have a good week, brothers.
Love y'all.